What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In today's video, I thought I'd give you some helpful tips for Conan Chop Chop, and we're gonna jump right into it. First of all, when you're talking to the blacksmith, you should not buy anything that you're not actually going to wear or use right away. There's no reason to spend that money just to unlock other things because you are not going to have the coin to buy those things right away. So my suggestion is unlock these before you start a new run. That way you always have something to start your run with. Now, as you can see, as you do buy different items from them, they do upgrade or fix their buildings. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out once you buy all the things, how the actual little town looks here, whether it's all put back together, and whether that opens up anything better. The other thing that you should know is that if you're playing in a party, only the host is able to buy things from the blacksmiths. So if you want to maximize your gameplay here, what you should do is unlock these for your team, and that way they can actually pick these up right off the ground just like you do. You could outfit your entire team depending on how much coin you have for it. Speaking of coin and currency, the only currency that you keep are the swirly rocks. Those are the only ones that you keep throughout your gameplay. What I do want to show you is there's actually hidden coin throughout the world. So anytime you are in one of the dungeons and you come across either crates, barrels, or vases, you want to break those and see what's in them. Some of them will have coins, like the ones in Darkwood. Others can actually have hearts in them, so you definitely want to break those when you come across them. And you're always going to want to check the ones in the last room before you go in to fight the boss. These sometimes have hearts in them, but it's not guaranteed. When you're out in the world, you may come across stone statues. These statues should be prioritized for destroying. The reason why is they apply buffs to the enemies, so it could be anything from increased damage to better armor or even health. Some of them actually spawn additional enemies. Let's talk about the mini-map real quick, and paying close attention to the mini-map is important. It will show chests that you may not see if you're not paying attention or looking very closely. Additionally, you can know whether you are headed towards the dungeon or whether you are headed towards a dead end by the little dots that connect each one of the dungeon rooms. If you're going through a door with a gold dot, that means you are headed towards a dead end. If you're going through a door with a white dot, that means you're actually headed towards the dungeon. Conan Chop Chop is definitely a game that expects you to die, and that's okay because when you die, that's where you're actually going to accumulate your XP to be able to unlock different abilities. So when you die, see what skill points you've accumulated. That way you can use those to level up and better your character. Now, Conan Chop Chop dungeons are procedurally generated, so you're not always going to get the same rooms. However, if you come across a room with one of these platforms with a heart, it will increase your health by 1 heart, and it will also fill your health. And these platforms are found at the end of each boss battle, so you do increase your health by defeating the boss. If you happen to have a follower, it's very easy to trick the AI system. So what you could do is have your follower on one side, dash to the other, and then as you'll see, the AI sometimes just freaks out. So you could just stand there and damage it from both sides. Let's talk about tips for combat. One is to remember to use your bombs. They could be very powerful and they are never ending, so you have tons of bombs. You just have to wait for them to come up. The other is to remember your parry and get your parry timing figured out so that you can cause the most damage. In this playthrough, I actually had a parry that would send a fire or a poison tornado in the direction that I blocked damage from. Another important tip is that some enemies actually have an attack pattern. So if you know an enemy is going to go into a 3-swing attack, you could dash or block to get behind them and then just do the damage from behind while they're attacking thin air. Now, status effects are very powerful, so whether that happens to be poison or sand, any of those things are going to give you an upper hand. So if you can get your hands on one of these status effects, that's very, very good. You can see I have both fire and poison on the enemy while I'm not in a position where I can attack him. So he continues to take that damage, during times where I'm not in a position where I can actually put physical damage on him myself. In party gameplay, I would say each person should try to have a different style or a different status effect. That would be the most powerful way of doing it. That way everybody is applying a different type of status effect to get the maximum possible status effect. The other thing is you do not have to wait for your rage meter or your special ability meter to be full. You can use that at any point in time once the meter reaches halfway or above. So use that when it comes up or when you need it. You do not have to wait for that meter to be full. And the meter fills by both doing damage and taking damage. So you see I got it halfway and then I was able to use that ability again. The last tip that I have for you today is about the chests that are behind both the fences and the pillars. Now, the ones that are behind the rocks, you can get to those really easy. Just place a bomb and the rocks will explode. However, the ones that are behind the fences and the pillars, you actually need a skill from your skill tree to be able to get to those. And then once you have that skill, you'll be able to dash right through either the pillars or the fences. I spent a lot of time early game trying to figure out some secret way to get into these areas in order to actually get those chests, because I saw them all over the place. I figured there has to be some way to do it, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out, all to find out that it is a skill in the skill tree, and you'll need to unlock that to get to those chests. So don't waste time trying to figure out some special secret way to get into those. You just need to unlock this perk, and then you'll be able to go through them. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tip video. If you've got some tip that I didn't mention, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below for all of your fellow Conan Chop Chop players. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.